Hey guys, so excited to have you back. This is the latest episode with Haz and Fanny, who are the co-founders of Swiss Escape, which is a co-living space, a space for remote workers in the middle of the Swiss Alps. So they are literally a 5-minute walk to the base of the ski slope, which is like amazing. I'm gonna do the interview while we're in this crazy snowstorm in the middle of the winter wonderland, basically. But the things that we're gonna get out of this episode is, why is co-living the next best thing for remote workers? How does it help you professionally and personally? How were they able to start this company and have it be in a thriving business, especially being a couple? I think these are a lot of juicy things we're going to talk about today, and I'm so excited to share this episode with you. Haz and Fanny are amazing, and you're going to learn so much about remote work, co-living, and running a business as a team and a couple. So let's dive right into it. Before we get started, we just want to give a shout out to Office R&D, who is our sponsor on today's episode. They are a co-working management software company that helps workspaces around the world deliver better experiences to their customers. They share our values of promoting and championing remote work, and they've been our biggest supporters since day one. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm really excited to be here today with Haz and Fanny, co-founders of Swiss Escape. We are sitting in their living room of one of the co-living houses, the chalets, and it is snowing like a winter wonderland outside. So I'm very excited to be here. And okay, so I have so many questions. So I want to get started with first asking everyone just kind of a framework of what Swiss Escape is. So it's a co-living space, right?
Yes.
And then how long have you guys been operational?
So Swiss Escape has been running now for 3 years. And when we started with just one property, and now we have another one, and hoping to grow to a third one. So co-working has been a usual concept, but co-living is still very new. As I would define it, would be it's an intentional community that shares community spaces, communal spaces, and also have activities based around that space. And of course, this can be focused on different kind of audience. What we have is mostly remote workers, travel professionals, but also some companies who do team retreats.
Nice, that's cool. And so I guess what the practicalities of what you guys are here, how many rooms do you have right now? Just so people know, like how many?
So we have, at the moment we have 8 rooms, hoping to grow to 14 by next winter.
Nice, that's awesome. And just so everyone knows, how far away are you from the ski lift?
I think everything is like 2 minutes away. Literally, you can see everything from the window here. The ski lift is just like 5 minutes away. So is the supermarket, bars, restaurants. I think everything is just a walking distance, so you really don't need a car when you're here.
For sure. And that's one thing. We were just talking to someone else who has stayed here for like 9 weeks, and they were saying that they initially only were going to come for like 1 month because they thought, okay, I'll have to take a bus to the ski lift. And then when they got here, they were like, oh my God, the gondola's right there, I can see it. And they basically go snowboarding every morning before they work because it's so close that they're able to go get a couple lifts in and then be able to work. So I think that you guys should advertise that a lot more. I'm just saying it now. I'm sure you're working on the marketing, but I think that that's a big reason why we came here too, because I think when people think of, remote working or co-living, they think like a beach or like a laptop and a coconut. But this is like a really amazing niche of, there's tons of people who love snowboarding and skiing, but they also have to work online and they need to pay their bills. So I think that you guys are accomplishing such a cool thing here, and I know it's going to take off. But tell me about the community of people that come here. So how are they different than what you've seen? Because you guys have traveled to other co-living spaces.
Yes.
So what do you see as different from your community versus others?
So I think people that we have here are people who are very successful in whatever they are doing. So they can, like Switzerland is not the cheapest countries and we know it. So people can actually afford to be here. And that means they are we have probably 60% are business owner. They are running their own team, or they are employees, but and they are paid very well for what they do. So I think that's what that's the thing that makes our community very different, is that we have very high level people coming here. Yeah.
And how does that affect the actual community that happens here?
Yeah, I think it's just because everyone has so much experience that they come with here, that they can share more and learn more, and oftentimes what happens is they end up hiring each other or working together, and I think for us that's the most rewarding part.
Yeah. To see those connections spark.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you hope that Swiss Escape goes? If everything goes well, where do you hope to be like in a year or 5 years from now?
Well, in a year, so we are hoping to add this third property that we are thinking about. So that's our, small step in our growth. But I mean, the long run, one of the dreams would be like the whole village just belongs to Nomad. But I mean, we are far from it. But
I love that.
We never know. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's like really important that we stick to what our branding is. This is an escape, right? The Swiss Escape. So that's why we want to be in places like where you are close to nature, where you have activities around, but also where you're able to work and stay focused. And that's one thing I think is very special about being in the mountains.
For sure, yeah. And what would you guys say is what people like most about it? Is it that the ski lodge, or is it the community?
So there's two things. I think one thing is like that you're very close to any touristic attractions. Like if you're into skiing, you're 2 minutes away. If you're into mountain biking, you are also right there. And the second thing is a community that plays a big role. That's one of the reasons why people would come to a co-living in the first place. So providing this community of people is so important to us. Yeah, for sure.
I would add on to that and say one other thing is also something that people are very surprised about when they enter the place, is because it's a 4-star chalet, that everything that's been designed and furnished is of very high quality, and that's one thing I think we take for granted, but a lot of people tell us how impressed they are with something like that.
Oh yeah, all the time. We were like, they have this thing in the bathroom which is like a drying rack for your towel, and it's like you push a button and it heats up and dries your towel, so when you come out of the shower it's like nice and warm. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. But you were saying to get that 4-star thing, you have to go through a ton of regulations. It's not something someone just hands you, right?
No.
You have to remodel everything and
Yeah, so there's specific kind of architecture to it. I would say there's specific kind of design, and the fittings in the rooms, and the number of rooms as well. And I think that's...
Yeah, and the appliances that you get, we have dishwasher. This is like in so many co-living spaces, they just don't even have a dishwasher. We have an oven, a microwave, like the number of things that we had to put to go to that level is a bit higher than in some other places. And also one of the things that is very important is like all our furniture is actually, most of it is either Swiss made or sourced locally. We didn't take a IKEA furniture, and that makes a little bit of a difference.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that like everything here is like from the trees out there. Like even all the outdoor furniture.
Yeah,
the architect is from here as well. And funny enough, we had someone here, she was telling us about how funny it was to find a Swiss flag on a peeler. Because it was something that's made in Switzerland. They like putting their flags there. And if you just notice things around the house and the chalet, you would find that there are little Swiss flags everywhere. Everywhere.
That's amazing. And I completely support that. I think supporting local stuff is what a lot of people who come through co-living were very like conscious of that, wanting to be sustainable and support the local economy. So I think that's awesome that you guys do that.
Yeah.
Okay, just tell me real quick, what is it that sparked you guys to do this? Like, why are you guys doing a co-living business?
So I think when we started, this is actually what you said at the beginning. There were so many, or let's say a few co-living places in destinations where you can surf. And we thought, come on, if people like surfing, maybe they would like skiing, right? It's like not so different. So this is really what we thought at the beginning, let's open just a space where people can enjoy winter sports, and we see what happens. And it turns out people actually enjoy winter sports a lot. And then for us, the thing is both of us studied tourism, so we have this hospitality background, and we know what it's like to welcome people and to make things, work behind the scene and just have people enjoy their stay. And I think we just loved welcoming people here because we are such in a tiny village in the middle of Switzerland that it was just amazing to see this kind of crowd coming here. So that was really the Yeah.
I just want to put a plug in for Fanny here that she made us all banana bread yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it.
Thank you.
What about you, for you, Haz?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've, like she said, we've come from tourism, but I was actually working in business travel. So I was doing something similar to remote working. I was actually traveling for more conferences and meetings, but that's what I feed off of. And then I was like, we wanted to do something of our own, but we thought that what is it that's missing? So we actually did a survey. That we asked people what is it that they're missing, what are the top problems for remote workers, and we used that data, and then we were like, let's start this as a proof of concept. And I think the first week we launched, we had our first booking, so that was exciting.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to ask you guys is, how is it working together as a couple?
Yeah.
I know this is like a really loaded question.
Yeah.
That can be tricky, right?
Yeah, it can be, because like when we started, we were wearing all sorts of hats for Swiss Escape. We were doing finance, we were doing marketing, we were doing logistics, we were doing everything. We were the whole business, and a lot of our work overlapped, and that's when we disagreed at many of the things, and we knew that this is not going to work. So what we did later on, I think a year later almost, that we designed a system that we were like, this is what your tasks would be, this is what my task would be, this is when we finish talking about work, because we need that.
So true.
Because if you take work to your bed, you're not gonna have the quality time as a couple. So having that kind of deadline or time that you can have your own quality time is very important.
And I would add to that, one of the things we just discovered maybe last year is that we need to take some time off from each other, literally. So every year, at least 1 month, we'll spend away from each other.
That's cool.
And it's just like, then I have my time, he has his time. And then we have time to figure out what's going well in our work, in our relationship, what can we change. And I think this was such an improvement in the way we work. I can feel the benefits this year of taking this time off.
Yeah, you get perspective.
Exactly.
I fully resonate with that, especially like for us, like we're traveling, we're working, we're like, I feel like we're on top of each other a lot of times, because you don't even know what it is to not think with the other person in the room, because you're always doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's so healthy that you guys do that.
Of course. And you should do that, really. So important.
Yeah.
That's so, I love it. I love talking to people who are also couples and working together.
Yeah.
I think that there's like very unique challenges, but it also can be a really amazing thing. Of course, you can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I wouldn't be able to do it without her, because one thing is, she is from this region, right? And she brings that expertise. She has that knowledge of whether it's the local people that she needs to speak to, whether it's property, managing the property owner, and things like that. I think it's very important to have someone local, and I think that's where her biggest role, I would say, is.
I mean, the thing in the couple is like, you have the trust, or let's say hopefully you trust each other from the beginning. So it's a bit easier to fall on each other's back. I mean, I know that whatever he's going to try to do is for the best of the business. If he messes up, it was not intentional, right? Whereas when you start with a business partner that you don't know, well, things might end up really, really wrong, So
because you don't have that built-up trust.
No,
it gets tested no matter what you do.
Yeah,
but you have it more built up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Well, I want to end the interview with asking you guys a question that I find really interesting: is where do you see yourself in the remote work evolution that is happening here? Because I still feel like we're at the beginning of it, and I know it's going to grow. And you guys are basically foundationally, and in the beginning and doing these amazing things. So. Yeah, I just want to know from your perspective. Yeah,
so I would say we are very much pioneers, at least in Switzerland, like really pioneers. No one knows what is a co-living, no one really.
Yeah.
When we started here, people thought we were completely crazy, that the kind of customers we would get are just on holidays all the time, which is just not true. So we are, at the moment, we know we are the forefront of this movement that is coming, but it's coming, it's growing. We see it every year, we see it. The more people talk about it, the Facebook groups are getting bigger and bigger, and there's more and more, newspaper publishing on that topic. I think it's just a matter of years, for more and more people to become just remote. So I think that's good that we are doing that right now, because we are exactly putting the foundation of what is co-living, what it can be in Switzerland and in the mountains. Because where we are here in this region is like 9 months a year, these places were like empty. There's no one. And I think remote workers can actually fill in the gaps, and they can bring a lot to the local economy. And I think this is so important. Co-living can be a movement that brings back to economies that are a bit less strong or that are suffering from seasonality. So I see it as a very, very positive movement. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with her in that sense, because what we are also doing is trying to push companies to allow their employees to go remote. And Switzerland is a different kind of market, because for them co-working is still quite new, I would say. So we are working with different partners to kind of help grow that. But I feel like what Swiss Escape will be in the next few years is like attracting these kind of established entrepreneurs, and hopefully we can create this community that can not just benefit the village here, but also benefit the whole remote working community and contribute to that.
Yeah, because you were saying right now most of your, or almost all of your people that come are not Swiss.
No.
Right, it's people from the outside who already get it, because Switzerland is still kind of catching up to the remote work.
Yes.
So once that gets on board, you guys are already going to have the foundation and everything established, and they're only going to be like a bus ride or a train ride away.
Yeah.
You could be full with just Swiss people who want to go work.
Yeah, I mean, Swiss people, most of the Swiss people spend, I would say, at least 3 to 4 weeks a year in the mountains. So this is something that they're very used to right from when they were born, I would say.
Yeah.
So they're very used to the mountains. So I would say as soon as this whole lifestyle picks up, they would really see this as an add-on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much again for having us here and inviting us to be in your space. And I know that this conversation is going to help a lot of people.
I'm happy.
So just a final thought, what would you say to anyone who's thinking of coming to Swiss Escape? Is there anything you would like to say to them?
I would say if you love mountains, if you love being outside, if you love having a community of established entrepreneurs and being in the most coziest chalet that there is, then this is the place you want to be. I think being outdoorsy person is like a must if you're in the mountains, right? So bring some enthusiasm with you, and I think we should make it work.
Yeah. What about you, Fanny?
Well, I think I said it very well, right? Like, if you love nature, that's the place to be.
Yeah. And you guys will be here welcoming everyone.
Yes. Always.
Always.
We are.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you guys so much. And we're excited to keep enjoying this wonderful winter wonderland outside. I love it so much. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I loved interviewing these guys. They're such a power couple. It is not easy to build a company and be a couple and do all of it successfully, and they are making it look so easy. So I loved learning from them. I hope that you enjoyed getting to know them. Get your butt out to Swiss Escape. It's so much fun hanging out with them, and oh my God, the ski slopes and everything. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit like at the bottom of the screen, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.